Have you ever wondered how the world's major religions adapt and evolve within different cultures and societies? One intriguing case is the Sinicization of Islam in China. This may sound like a complex term, but it essentially refers to China's efforts to mold Islam to align with its own unique societal and cultural characteristics. But why is this significant, you may ask? Well, this process is deeply intertwined with a hot-button issue: the experiences and challenges faced by the Uyghur Muslim population in China. This Sinicization process has led to some deeply controversial policies. For instance, certain Islamic practices like growing beards or wearing prayer caps are deemed undesirable. Even more alarming, Uyghur children as young as 3 or 4 are being held in re-education camps. In the following scenes, we'll explore this complex issue in a chronological manner. So, buckle up as we delve into this intriguing intersection of religion, culture, and politics in China. The story of Islam in China begins over 1,000 years ago. This tale starts during the Tang dynasty, around the 7th century, when Arab traders voyaged across the vast expanses of the Silk Road, bringing with them not only goods to exchange, but also their Islamic faith. These early Muslim settlers were largely welcomed in China. The Tang dynasty, known for its cosmopolitan and liberal outlook, embraced these new residents and their exotic religion. The Muslim community flourished, establishing mosques and becoming an integral part of China's diverse religious landscape. This was a period of relative harmony, with Islam coexisting peacefully alongside Buddhism, Taoism, and Confucianism. However, the relationship between Chinese authorities and the Muslim population wasn't always one of mutual respect and tolerance. As with any intermingling of cultures, there were phases of tension. During the Song dynasty, for instance, there were instances of discrimination against Muslims, but these were largely isolated incidents rather than systemic oppression. Yet, even amidst these challenges, the Muslim community continued to grow and integrate further into Chinese society. By the time of the Yuan dynasty in the 13th century, Muslims had achieved significant influence, holding key positions in government and contributing to advancements in science, medicine, and the arts. Fast forward to the Ming dynasty, and we see the concept of Sinicization of Islam beginning to take form. This was a process of assimilating Islamic principles into Chinese cultural norms. Muslims started to adopt Chinese names, dress, and language while maintaining their Islamic beliefs and practices. This unique blend gave birth to what is now known as Chinese Islam. The history of Islam in China is rich and complex, setting the stage for the current situation. This long and intricate history paints a picture of a faith that has woven itself into the very fabric of Chinese society, all the while maintaining its distinct characteristics. From periods of harmony to phases of tension, the tale of Islam in China serves as the backdrop against which today's events unfold. In recent years, the Chinese government has embarked on a policy of Sinicization of Islam. This policy is a conscious effort by the authorities to make Islam align more closely with what they deem as Chinese characteristics. It's a grand design to shape the practice of Islam so that it fits more snugly into the mold of Chinese society and culture. The Sinicization of Islam isn't just a policy on paper, it's being actively enforced, and it has real tangible effects on the ground. The government has taken a stern view of certain Islamic practices, such as growing beards, wearing prayer caps, and other cultural practices. These practices, while seen by Muslims as integral parts of their faith, are considered undesirable by the Chinese authorities. The government hasn't just stopped at discouraging these practices, it has gone a step further, imprisoning those who engage in them. This harsh stance has created an environment where practicing one's faith can lead to severe consequences. It's a chilling effect that has reached into the very heart of the Uyghur Muslim community. The Sinicization policy extends beyond just the adults. Disturbingly, Uyghur Muslim children as young as 3 or 4 years old are being held in re-education camps. This move, ostensibly to integrate them into Chinese society, is a stark example of the lengths to which the authorities are willing to go to Sinicize Islam. Contrary to the global trend of embracing multiculturalism, the Chinese government has rejected the idea of Islam having a Chinese flavor. In their view, Islam originated in Saudi Arabia, and any attempt to Sinicize it is seen as a dilution of its authenticity. The Chinese insistence is clear. If Islam is to exist within its borders, it must align with Chinese characteristics. This policy, while controversial and heavily criticized, is firmly in place and shows no signs of abating. These policies have had profound effects on the Uyghur Muslim population. The full extent of these effects, however, is something we'll delve into in the next scene, so stay tuned as we continue to unpack this complex and emotive issue. The Uyghur Muslims, a Turkic ethnic group living largely in Xinjiang, have been particularly affected by these policies. As we delve deeper into the lives of Uyghur Muslims, we find a community grappling with the relentless pressure to conform to an alien culture. A significant part of the Uyghur Muslim experience is the infamous re-education camps, a euphemism for detainment centers where Uyghurs, including children as young as 3 or 4 years old, are held. These camps are places where the Uyghur culture, language, and faith are systematically suppressed, and the Chinese Communist Party's ideology is imposed. The Chinese government has defended these camps as necessary measures to combat extremism, but the international community sees them as a stark violation of human rights. Uyghur Muslims face a daily struggle to preserve their unique identity amidst these challenges. The simple act of growing a beard or wearing a prayer cap can lead to imprisonment, further reinforcing the climate of fear and oppression. The plight of the Uyghur Muslims has not gone unnoticed. Internationally, human rights organizations, governments, and individuals have voiced their criticism and concern about the Chinese government's policies. However, the Chinese government has remained largely unresponsive to these criticisms, insisting that these measures are necessary for maintaining social stability and national unity. Despite the international outcry, the situation for Uyghur Muslims remains dire. Their lives are a constant struggle to maintain their faith and culture in the face of relentless pressure. Yet, they continue to resist, persist, and hope for a better future. The struggle of the Uyghur Muslims is a stark illustration of the impact of the Sinicization of Islam. It's a vivid reminder of the dangers of imposing a dominant culture on minority groups and the importance of upholding human rights, cultural diversity, and religious freedom. As we continue to explore the Sinicization of Islam in China, let's keep the experiences of the Uyghur Muslims in mind and remember the human cost of these policies. The Sinicization of Islam in China raises important questions about religious freedom and cultural identity. It's not just a local issue, but a global one that resonates with anyone who values the freedom to practice their religion and preserve their cultural identity. The Sinicization of Islam is a clear demonstration of how a dominant power can control and manipulate a minority's religious and cultural practices to align with its own socio-political agenda. Here, the Chinese government's approach towards Islam isn't merely an attempt to integrate it into Chinese society, but rather to redefine it according to Chinese characteristics. This raises significant concerns about the erosion of cultural and religious diversity and the potential suppression of minority rights. Moreover, the Uyghur Muslims' struggle highlights the broader issue of human rights. The confinement of Uyghur Muslims, including children as young as 3 or 4 years old in re-education camps, is a stark reminder of how religious beliefs can be used as a reason for persecution. This is a chilling example of how a government can exert its power to control and suppress religious freedom. Looking ahead, the future scenarios aren't promising, given the current trends. If the Sinicization of Islam continues at this pace, it could lead to the complete assimilation of Uyghur Islam into Chinese culture, potentially erasing unique religious practices and cultural identities. On the other hand, if international pressure mounts, it could force the Chinese government to reconsider its policies. Yet, the road to change is often long and fraught with challenges. However, this situation also provides an opportunity for global citizens to reflect on the importance of religious freedom, cultural diversity, and human rights. It's a wake-up call to stand up against religious and cultural suppression wherever it may be happening. In conclusion, the Sinicization of Islam in China isn't just about the Uyghur Muslims or Islam, it's about the global struggle for religious freedom, cultural identity, and human rights. As we move forward, the world watches closely to see how this situation will evolve. As we've seen, the Sinicization of Islam in China is a complex and controversial issue. This process, aimed at aligning Islam with Chinese characteristics, has brought about significant challenges, particularly for the Uyghur Muslim community. Our journey through the annals of history has revealed that Islam has a deep-rooted presence in China, a presence that has been increasingly strained by modern Sinicization policies. These policies, which deem certain Islamic practices as undesirable, have led to a shocking reality where individuals, even children as young as 3 or 4, are imprisoned for their cultural practices. It is a situation that calls for global awareness and understanding as well as respect for all cultures and religions. As we continue to observe these developments, it's crucial to remember the human lives affected and the importance of understanding and respect for all cultures and religions. Thank you for watching.